from where you sit, Kasalu should deputize you.
By all standards, by the way, by all standards.
I will not be a one-term governor. I'll be a two-term governor.
There is no justification at all why Kenya should re-elect President Ruto. I think we need to move from from one term, from Kasongo, from Sakayo, to real issues. Be the best finance minister, but based on political dynamics, you find you are told, okay, for now, I want a deputy who can work when I'm away.
This is beyond facts.
Mheshimiwa, being a high-ranking member of your party, we know there is a lot of push and pull within the opposition coalition who will be the flag bearer, the presidential flag bearer. Can you tell us how the discussions have been going and where they have reached us?
Yeah, as you say, as a party, and I do sit in the National Executive Council, so I know a lot of the things which are happening. We did, as a party, resolve that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is going to be our party flag bearer, much as a presidential candidate
Within
Wiper. And on the basis of that, we also gave him the mandate to negotiate on our behalf as a party with the other presidential candidates from other parties. And what has happened now over time is like now we are in the process of trying to see how we can build a strong coalition which can match the existing Kenya Kwanza coalition and even beat them. So that being the case, we are in a phase where now is more bringing the principles of all these parties to a round table so that the issue of building a team before you even agree on the team leader. So what is happening currently is more building a team, and you must have seen that there are lots of attempts to have many sessions where the principals are meeting on their own, just to get to know each other, pick from each other the thinking. So where we are now is more building a team, because it's after you build a team that you agree now who is the team leader. And one of the things you have said, and which you keep on saying any meeting you go to, is that you are all equal. You are equals among equals, you see. But at the end of the day, you will need one person to, I don't like the term to be your chairman, just to be your leader, so that he provides that coordination bit and then becomes the presidential candidate. So that being the case, is that now, as a swiper, we are putting our best foot so that we get Honorable Kalonzo becoming the presidential flag bearer. And this is informed by many factors. When we say that, we are not saying that because it's just our party leader, or it's because it comes from our region. We are saying that after considering many factors. The time he has been in politics, his level of acceptance by Kenyans, the trust levels from Kenyans, where he has worked, his international image in terms of what the external, because you know we live in a global village. In that case, you can't be a president and you're just isolated. We also need to find out what would be the neighbors and the other people who are very far look at you as a presidential candidate. So, because we see our party leader being a very strong contender for this position, one of the things is we are on a serious outreach program so that we reach as many other Kenyan leaders as possible to see that they can support his cause. And so far, I have no fear of contradiction saying we are on track. A lot of Kenyans are expressing a lot of confidence in him. A lot of Kenyans are talking to us, are telling us to encourage him so that he doesn't step back, because this is a critical moment and this country requires somebody who can save it from the challenges we are going through. So in brief, I'm just saying we are on track ourselves. But that doesn't mean we've got it 100%. There's still room to work on a number of other things as we approach the 2027 date. One of the things you have said, and I've said this openly in many interviews, TV interviews, is that this time my wish, and I am happy that the party leader seems to agree with my wish, is that we announce our candidate early enough, not the normal 3 months to the election. At least a year two, or about 8 months to. But the advantages of doing that is that you allow Kenyans to analyze the candidate, criticize the candidate, and be able to compare the candidate with the other competitors. So that will help Kenyans and allow even the candidate to get all the beatings which should come, so that you develop your shock observers, you see. So that will allow Kenyans, because one of the things I've realized, I want to say this now as a statistician, if you look at now the opinion polling which is being done, there is still a huge jack of Kenyans who are not decided. They are saying we are not yet decided. But if you allow them a long time before you tell them you are a candidate, they start saying we would rather go by the person we know than these guys who we don't know. And then you start losing the undecided block to your opponent, because you're not telling them who is your candidate. So if you want to compete fairly for this undecided block, it is important you say this is our candidate early enough, so that they can be able to analyze their candidate and say now we can go this way or this way. And I think that's what has been one of our undoing is other coalition, NASA, Azimio in the past. Our undoing has been always that people would demand Kalonzo is there, Raila is there, and then 3 months to the election, one of them steps back, and those who had said I will only go for this one, the switch comes and go to the other area. So with this time, I think we really need to come early enough and say this is our candidate. When the party that was addressing the media the other day, he said, actually he was saying by March they should be able to give us a candidate. But that indicates that even if it's not March, it indicates that there is need to come early this time.
Yes.
And for me, I would really be looking forward to a situation where latest by December this year, our coalition will have identified the presidential flag bearer, so that we start now working all around that candidate and providing all the necessary support. That would be good for
now.
Just within the opposition circles, there appears to be a point of departure.
Yes.
Because Honorable Kalonzo says we need to announce who is the presidential candidate early enough, by March this year, for example.
Yes.
Then you have Honorable Rigathi Gachagua saying if we announce early, we are going to be innovated or something.
For me, those are just different individual opinions, and it is expected, because as I said earlier, they are still at the stage of team formation, so they are still interacting, because that was a clear demonstration that on this matter they not consulted both of them to agree on a position. But I think it's also good because it also gave us a motion for debate. Kenyans have started now debating, is it good early or is it good later? But now those of us who have been in the opposition since 2013, we know Gachagua's proposal, we have been there in the past, and we don't see if we go that direction we are to get different results. So that's why we are saying we need to convince him to come to our side, tell him what you are saying might make sense now, but look at the history. We did this for the other 3 elections. And I think it should not be difficult to convince him to buy to our, because he will be now providing what we call proof that we have done this in the past and we have never won. So, but it also tells you that then they need, I said, there is still room for more consultation before they address Kenyans. That's what it means.
Mheshimiwa, don't you think as a coalition, the opposition, you got slightly punctured when ODM started working with UDA, and considering the numbers that ODM as a party has in parliament, the numbers that UDA has, if they combine forces, even if you win the presidential
election,
will you have any numbers in parliament? And are you able, as a coalition, to overtake and to win against that judgment?
If the status quo remains, we might have a challenge. But you'll be surprised to learn that a lot of our colleagues are actually waiting for the right opportunity to switch camps. Because today if I decided to switch camp today, it means I lose my seat and go back to a by-election.
Yes.
Just what the law says. So there are so many of members of parliament who are in this house, and we know them, who are saying, gentlemen, we are together, but we are just waiting for the right opportunity for for us to come. And I think it is evident. You can see what is happening now with the ODM as a party. There's a lot of division. They are not on the same script. And that means automatically there will also be a fallout. Some people have to go to the same story with Central Kenya. There are those who are saying where we are now, if we associated ourselves with the DCP, then we are likely to be, UDA is likely to act on us, and then we are likely to lose our seats. So there is a bit of wait and see attitude, so that in terms of timing, because the law allows a time when you can cross over, and they are now, we don't have any consequences to face. So most of them are trying that opportunity. But I can tell you for sure, the way things are now, today, majority of Kenyans are in the opposition. If elections were to be held today, a lot of Kenyans are in the opposition. And that means if we are then to go that direction up to the end, you will have more leaders coming through the opposition ticket as opposed to the government ticket. And that is, if that's the case, then that would be good for the government, because they will also have majority in the house. But the status quo, if it remains today, we'll have a problem. But I think that's why we need to work very hard, very strategically. We work so that we get more numbers to our side. And I think now it has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt that when you don't have the numbers in the house, even when you are in leadership, you are likely to face challenges. And I'm sure our principals are aware of that fact, that you need numbers in the house for you to get your agenda also passed, and you to be able to serve Kenyans as you expect.
Back to your party leader. What makes you think that if your party leader is the presidential candidate, you will bring home, you will win the contest against a sitting president?
Actually, the thing is, Kalonzo is a very strong, when we talk about the SWOT analysis, he has quite a number of strengths which are appealing to Kenyans. The first one is experience. He is very experienced matters governance. So if he's somebody who appreciates the way the government works and overseeing the way the government works, so he's not a person who would put there and he doesn't know what to do. So he has an edge over most of the others in terms of experience. The other thing, is also a very good politician, having been in politics for almost now 40 years. He understands Kenyans. So he can be a very good unifying factor, matters politics. So that when we discuss the politics of this country, he knows each of these regions of this country what they would want to hear politically.
Yes.
So he's not a person who comes and he antagonizes the Kenyans. So that's another strong point. That strong point is also seen from outside as a diplomat. Somebody who will be able to bring to the table the right networking skills, the right networking strategy, so that Kenya remains where it should be, matters diplomacy. So when you start discussing diplomatic issues of this country, I think you can't conclude that topic without bringing Mheshimiwa Kalonzo into it, because he has been in that arena for quite a long time. The other thing is, I don't know for what reason, but Kenyans seem to trust Kalonzo, that if Kalonzo became the president today, none of the Kenyan tribes, in quotes, would feel like we have our fears. No, I don't think. He is seen as a very inclusive factor, that with Kalonzo, the country is going to be very inclusive, that everybody will feel a sense of belonging. And you know that is important politically. It's very important that everybody will feel that I'm really a Kenyan. With him, I don't feel like now, you know, there is a feeling of we have been excluded from the governance. A few regions feel like we have been excluded. I don't think the Kalonzo candidature or presidency, people would feel that. And that's why I was so happy when I saw Ruto really coming out clear and saying Kalonzo has never developed his home area. Because it just confirms that point, that he's not a person who would be selfish, that you want to push things to your area and you leave the rest of the country not developed. So that's another strong. The other strong factor is even his own colleagues, who are the principals, they also see him as a elder brother. And you normally, when you see somebody like the most firstborns in a family, are seen like the people who can take all the buildings, but at the end of the day still say it's a family, let's maintain the family.
Yes.
So he's seen by majority of the other principals like this is an elder brother, and in that sense then he commands respect. That anytime he is there, he commands respect from his colleagues, and you can see that respect is good, because if you are president and don't command respect, then you are in problems. So these are some of the factors we are looking at, and we are saying. Then the other one is also among the few leaders in this country who can say, I have a block of followers who are faithful to me. And I think that has been proved over time. Look at the many times. We started with him as deputy president, we voted Raila, deputy president, we voted Raila. The third time, Kalonzo, just a politician, Kambani still stood with him and voted Raila. That means his block of followers is a block which you can count on. And I think there's nothing as good as when you're a politician, you can say, I have a block I can count on. I'm coming to the table with this block. And that's why I like what Gachagua was telling us. That you guys, you have a block which is hindered. Why don't you add more numbers to this block? So that now you don't talk about 1.5 million, you talk about 4 million. Because if the Kamba vote becomes 4 million, all those principals know very well that this block of 4 million is in the basket of the opposition because of Mheshimiwa Kalonzo. That's another additional point which is important.
That brings us to another question. You kind of, we thought there is some infighting, but from what you're saying, you took very positively the comments by Gachagua that the Kambas need to up their game.
That's for me. That's you know when I say that the good thing at times of being analytical, and you get that through education, is because you should be able to look at both sides. And with the information I told you, that Gachagua, when I read him, because much more is said by what is not being said, by just looking at someone and talking. I think what Gachagua is telling us is, you Wakamba, we don't want to tell you, but it's like we have agreed, this son of yours is the man we might be counting on. And if it's the man we are counting on, we don't want a situation where the issue of your numbers in terms of votes and not the ones you have, the issue of the voters who have not registered becomes a factor in our discussion. So he was telling us, you have a potential of 3 million votes, you are at 1.5. If you really love Kalonzo that much, why don't you just take this 1.5 muongezekwa wakikabu? That's the way I look at the way I look. So to me, it was just a challenge. It wasn't, you know, some people might think he was looking down upon our party leader. But I think he was telling now that the people who was addressing, who were hurt, that you guys it's time to wake up and improve your numbers. Because your son is a person who seems to be
suited for the job.
Yeah, suited for the job.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it personally. Other people might look at it differently. But I think even in politics, that challenge is good for our politics. Especially when we are discussing voter registration. That challenge is good.
It's good.
It's good.
Mheshimiwa, should Kalonzo get to fly the opposition presidential flag, he will face the sitting president, President William Ruto, at the ballot. As a seasoned economist over the years, I want to get your assessment of President Ruto's performance so far, because he's giving a lot of promises. We know his campaign manifesto during the last elections. What is your assessment, and maybe in a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay, as I said earlier, before I joined Parliament, I was a monitoring and evaluation specialist. My work was to assess development and evaluate and see how far we've achieved, where we've not achieved. These statistics I'm providing are not my own statistics. They are statistics which were picked from the Kenya Kwanza implementation matrix, which has what we call performance indicators. If you go to that matrix, it has 270 performance indicators, all now tied to the Kenya Kwanza promises. Now, by the clash of the third year of President Ruto's regime, the third year of Ruto's administration, evaluation was done as at 10, indicated that out of the 270 performance indicators, which are part of the Kenya Kwanza implementation matrix, they had only achieved 5% of that. Only 5% out of that. That was achievement at the end of the third year. Now, if you are to do what we call a statistical trying projection, if you are to project to the end of the year, it means there is a high likelihood they will not have achieved 10% of those indicators. And anytime you are evaluating somebody's performance, you use those performance indicators. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that if we were to assess the performance or President Ruto's re-election on the basis of performance, there is no justification at all why Kenyans should re-elect President Ruto. That's no objective assessment. It does not do with politics. But let's, behind our minds, we must know that President Ruto is a very, very, what is the best terminology to describe him as a politician? He's a very smart, he's a very smart politician. Let me use that. Smart in a feature. He's a very smart politician. Yeah. And that's how we will see what he has started doing. He's now started telling Kenyans, I want to do this number of roads. I want to do this number of stadiums. So that Kenyans can forget the earlier promises. And now start looking at, if we take this guy back to the office, then he will be able to do the things he has promised. That's when he came to our region, he promised countless things. You could not, we counted to a level, so that being the case, it's like now, what that says is that the opponents, well, that's where my party leader is now,
yes.
The opponents must be very smart and very calculative to ensure that they counter this political narrative, because it can easily mess the whole election if it's not counted properly. So in short, in terms of performance, Ruto has no justification to be re-elected. Politically, he's a guy who can easily play around with the Kenyan minds and find himself back into the office. So what we want to do is we need to do civic education so that Kenyans can be able to see the card is hiding.
Does the opposition need to remind Kenyans on the promises the president made?
A lot matters civic education. And that's what I said for me. This year, I think we need to move from from one term, from Kasongo, from Sakayo, to real issues. We'll start telling Kenyans, you guys, you are promised 1,000 acres of irrigated land. Why is it? You guys, you are promised this number of stadia. Where are they? You guys, so that all those promises now, we list them in a column. And the second column is where are we in achievement. So that we tell them, you are promising this is where we are. And on the basis on that, then we score down what has this government achieved. And then translate those statements to political statements. Kenyans want to hear, you are telling us you never achieved issues of health issues. And this is very clear from the indicators. So what alternative programs are you bringing on board that we achieve this indicator? That's critical. So I think now we need to start moving more from the political statements to more of real issues which touch on the Kenyan economy. And all said and done, economics. Issues of the economy are going to be critical in this campaign. So people must craft strategies, statements which address economic challenges which Kenyans are going through.
Now, Mheshimiwa, everybody, all Kenyans are worried, even those who support the opposition. And even from what you are saying, you kind of agree with what the president has been telling the opposition, that if, he has come up with a plan, he's implementing his own manifesto. However poor ratings you are giving, what is the alternative? What is the opposition offering that is different from what the president is saying? And to counter on what the president has been saying, that the opposition is clueless and lacking a plan to serve Kenya.
I think the thing is, we are not clueless. As opposition, we know what needs to be done. Maybe what we have not done is we have not been able to pronounce our alternative programs. For example, there are about five issues which Kenyans are saying these are our issues of concern. One of them is cost of living. Kenyans are saying in this country, cost of living is very high. I'm sure when you look at our manifestos as our position, we have very clear programs on what we need to do to bring the cost of living down. There are issues of unemployment, which are there. There are issues of public debt, where Kenyans are saying we have overborrowed, and we are now in a problem where we are in a serious problem because the current Kenyan and the future Kenyan is already auctioned through debt. And then the issues of the other issue is I said public debt, I said unemployment, I said cost of living, the issue of the taxation regime. People are complaining a lot that Kenyans are overtaxed. So these issues are known by Kenyans. And I think what Kenyans want to hear from us is, us as an opposition, we know what we need to do. But Kenyans, I think, can you start telling us what you are thinking about the solutions to these problems, so that we start internalizing them and possibly start believing in you. And that's why I said this year, I think is the year we should now come out strongly as an opposition group and tell Kenyans what are the alternatives to what the government is doing, so that they can compare our alternatives and with what is happening and see that we have a better alternative. Like all along, Wave has been talking about 24-hour economy. We've never gotten that chance to implement that good proposal. And you know, if that 24-hour economy was implemented, as it is in the Wiper Manifesto, that could easily address the issue of unemployment. Because it means people do 3 shifts instead of 1 shift. You do 8 hours, because 24-hour economy means you do your 8 hours, you get home, another group comes, 8 hours. So that could easily start addressing the issue of unemployment. The other thing is things like coming up with creative ways of starting programs which are labor intensive, so that more people now start being employed instead of machines or computers. So we have the ideas, but I think we've not really, because you know these things are also not very easier said in a political rally. You can't start telling people itawaletea mkopo kwa rally. They want to hear 1 term, 2 term. That is okay. But I think really we need to come up with the messaging which we start addressing this either in boardroom or in a public interviews like this, so that people can start agreeing that our principles also have alternative ideas.
Okay,
So,
now let me take you. Okay, for instance, you've talked about the public debt, which is ballooning.
It is ballooning.
And it can only be repaid by us Kenyans through taxation. At the same time, Kenyans are overtaxed. You now, Mheshimiwa, as a seasoned politician, a seasoned economist, what, and somebody whom the opposition may have to rely on to come up with these policies and new strategies, especially on matters economy. How will the ordinary Kenyan benefit from a Kalonzo Musyoka government or the opposition government on matters taxation?
Now what I said, and I've said it many times, taxation is not bad. Because you tax people to be able to provide services and goods to them. What is bad is a situation where you tax people to a level that then they can't even survive. Because if you want to grow an economy, you must leave people with money in their pockets, what you call disposable income.
Yes.
They must be having money in their pockets so that they spend that money, and by spending that money, they will trigger economic demand. Because if I have money to buy a shirt, a good shirt, then it means somebody who produces shirts will have a customer that can produce more shirts. So to me, what we need is not to tax Kenyans more, is to think of a way of how can you put more money into people's pockets. And as an economist, if you look at the history, there are so many ways governments were able to put money to people's pockets. And that's why you see projects like what you call like the Kasi Mtaani. So if they are properly structured, even actually this ASLA fund, if it was properly managed, unfortunately they mismanaged it. It's a project which can put money to people's pockets and trigger economic activities. By doing that, you grow your economy, and by growing the economy, you're able to collect more money in form of taxes. So what we need is a strategy which will grow our economy, so that we grow the cake to be bigger, other than trying to compete for this cake which never grows, and then we all get small bits. But as public debt, my economic theory, very simple theory, public debt is a very good thing. That's the always starting point. It's a very good thing. What matters is how do you apply your debt. It's just like a personal debt. If I get a debt today and I do residential structures for ending, it means in 2 years it's a jilipa. If I get a loan today and I marry an additional wife and I pay dowry, then in 2 years I'll be spending more because I'll have an additional member of our family. So these are the things. You need to apply your debt. So the Kenyan debt, because I used to be the first chair public debt and privatization committee, we test a number of issues which are ailing this country. One of them is our public debt are never borrowed on the basis of feasibility studies. So that we never go to get loans on the basis of we have done a feasibility study of this program, it will help Kenyans, and then you get a loan. Some of them are borrowed even when there is no feasibility study. So the application of the loan is a problem. The other thing is the leakages. You borrow money and then you misapply, or matters of corruption come in, and that loan, instead of applying 100%, 70% applied, 30% people's pocket. These are critical issues. There are cases where we have borrowed money, and even after borrowing money, we are not able to draw that loan, and you have a loan sitting in a bank account somewhere in Europe or in America for over 3 years. No single cent has been drawn, and we are paying commitment fee worth millions of shillings. So there is also a bit of what I would call bad financial management, so that you know what should be done, but you're not doing it, and you don't care. So I think if you just went by what the Constitution says, the Kenyan Constitution says there shall be prudent management of public resources. So what we are lacking is the word prudent. That's what we have deleted from our implementation. So we are saying there shall be application, not prudent. So if we are able to bring back the word prudent to our management of our public resources, we'll get it right. And I think that's what a Kalonzo government should work at. And that's why, because I'll be part of that government, that's what I'll be pushing for. I'll be telling my party leader, Mukubwa, if you want us to save Kenyans, this is the way to go. That will be backed by theory, it will be backed by practice, and we'll be able to change this country. So we have the solutions.
You have the alternatives.
We have the alternatives. It's only that in Kenya, one of the things we are facing, we are suffering most from, and it's unfortunate it's happening. You have had statement like President Ruto hires advisors, and he advises them on what they should advise him. You have had that statement?
Yes.
So that your people are very knowledgeable, but you don't give them chance to advise you so that you do the right thing. My plea would be my government, when it comes to place, and that's the Kalonzo government, my plea would be a government which should be listening to the profession. And that's what Kibaki did. Kibaki is a president who would never implement anything without getting a technical input or a professional input from the PSCs and the directors in that particular ministry. So that you do things right in terms of how they have been done in the past, and you have the right outputs. If we go that direction and we get Kalonzo adapting some of these basic things, and I'm sure he's a good listener, we will be able to push this country to the next level.
Mheshimiwa, somebody listening to you will be very much interested, or at least curious to think this Honorable Makali, who is very experienced, a seasoned economist, a politician of many years, with so much vast experience. Why is he abandoning Kalonzo at this critical moment? Why not wait for Kalonzo to become president so that Makali becomes a CS?
For treasury.
Oh, for treasury.
Yeah, and advise him how to run the government.
That's a good question. The truth of the matter is, I wouldn't mind serving in that position, but we said politics is a game where you might lose, you might win, and you've seen in the past people have gone for political contests, they win, and when the need comes, you are able to switch to whatever place your party leader says you need to serve. So what we are saying is, from where I sit today, with all these experiences, the experience and my qualifications, I'm saying I would want really to serve the people of Kitui, so that, Kitui is an area I'm sure when I get it, I can apply all these skills and make it a model county. That doesn't mean that I can't serve Kalonzo even when I'm in Kitui, but it means that because I'm here and he's my party leader, if he needs me to serve him at that level, assuming he'll be the president, and I believe he will be, then there should be no problem. The other thing with the era of technology, I can still give my hand advice. when I'm in Kitui, because it doesn't mean when I go to Kitui I become a deadwood. I'll still be the same brain. We can still give our advice, and I'm sure most leaders will have advisors. So I can be in that team of these advisors. The other thing, from my experience, I've also realized that because of the regional balancing, it's also not very easy to get some of these senior positions going also to your region. So you might think Makali is the best, but you know, Makali and Kalonzo, they are brothers, they come from the same region. So political dynamics might even play against me. That I might be the best finance minister, but based on political dynamics, you find you are told, okay, for now, could you just become an advisor? So there are these dynamics we are considering, and that's what I'm saying. My wish is that he becomes the president, I become the governor, and we share this information, because we are in touch. We can talk, we can share experiences, and I want to give my commitment that even if I will not be the governor, these brains I carry will still be available for use by President Kalonzo when he assumes that position.
Good.
Mheshimiwa, maybe a quick one. Have you thought about your running mate when it comes to the Kitui seat? Where do you get your running mate from?
I have not yet thought about a running mate, but I can say this from a very just general perspective. Coming from Kitui Central, it's obvious that my running mate cannot come from the neighborhood of Kitui Central. So the only potential areas are three. You have Kitui South, you have Mwingi North, no, you have Mwingi region, and you have Kitui East. So what a running mate should do is to add value. Either add value in terms of ensuring that it brings to the table more votes, which you might not be having. Add value in terms of supplementing your experience and your skills. Because now, as an economist, I will also look at what is the qualification of my running mate, so that we add more, combined we have a better output. So, as at now, that's something I've not thought of, but it is obvious that running mate will have to come from one of those three areas. But what is very critical, as a politician, that running mate must be somebody who adds votes to my basket. So one of the things, those who will be competing for that position must be somebody who can add votes to my basket. Because there's no way I will be all over the place being popular. The areas I will think I'm not popular, the others will have been higher, low levels of popularity, others higher popular. So where I have low levels of popularity, it will add value for me to pick a running mate from that area, so that they add to my number. Because at the end of the day, Mwazia, we must win this seat.
Yes. Has anyone shown an interest in being your running mate?
Okay, there are those who are in their own discussion, they are saying they wouldn't mind being my running mate. But you know, from my person, I wanted to consolidate my own, you know, as you would say, and with the talk that I'm only known in Kitui Central, I wanted to focus more on ensuring that I'm known, and I'm known as Makali, not Makali with somebody else. And I think now I've already achieved that. So now I can start thinking about this 2026. I must start now thinking about who would add value to my work. The other thing is there could also be some gender consideration, because it's all said and done. We are very smart ladies in Kitui who can also serve well. So for me, I'm indifferent. I'll be able to sit down, and for your information, anybody who wants to be my running mate must be ready for some interview with me and with my team, because I must get the right person for this position. I want somebody, when I'm out of the station, I don't have to start calling every time mambo inaendeleaje. Nikikuwa leave naenda nalala na watu wangu, atachapa kazi inaendelea Kitui bila mimi.
There was this talk about the Honorable Kasalu being like, if a boardroom agreement has to be achieved, that you can run as a pair in one ticket. Has that
Those could be some party dynamics. Really, I've worked with the Honorable Kasalu in Parliament. She's a colleague, and I respect her a lot. At one point, we served in the same committee, called Public Debt and Privatization Committee. So, if the party decides that's the way to go, because there are also some decisions the party will have to take.
You remind her
and
as a deputy.
I have no. For her to have even said that she can go for that position, so she must consider that she can do the work. So, if that comes to be the case, so long as you do what I've agreed, ongeza kura kwa kikapu, you must also meet my expectation in terms of work. And I don't want a deputy who cannot do anything when I'm away. I want a deputy who can work when I'm away, so that we push Kitui county to the next level.
So
Okay.
from where
Now-
you sit, Kasalu should deputize you.
By all standards, by the way, by all standards. You know, if you look at seniority, age, kila kitu, I'm actually, by everything, I think I'm.
Okay, fine. Now, we've picked your mind very well on the wealth that is in Kitui and how it can be utilized.
Yes.
Can you also pick your mind on how you will solve this question of international government function, security-wise,
Yeah.
the pastoral conflict between the herders on the other side of, this time, rather, Tana River and Kitui, and the question of sand harvesting, how it can be utilized in a manner that is brings revenue and also sustainable, and also the question of Kitui. Those are 3 questions I hope you're taking. But yeah, Kitui is one of very few counties in Kenya which are landlocked in courts. Like if you have to travel from Kitui to the neighboring county, Tana River, there is no road.
Yeah, opening. Yeah, you need to open it.
Likewise, same case in Makueni. I mean, you have to take a whole journey of almost 2 days through Garissa or through Malindi. Same case with the Garissa,
Yes.
all these places. How will you go sort these 3 issues?
Now, actually, the issue of security, Kitui County security issues relating to our neighbors is already sorted in terms of strategy. It's implemented, which is still pending. We did agree as a leadership from Kitui County, where we were led by the governor, the current governor, that we need to do about 3-4 things. The first thing, we need to get the Kenya survey to put the beacons for our boundaries. By doing that, we'll sort out the issue of where is the border for Kitui and Tana River. By that, it will be sort of the issue of who is where. Because if a school is in Kitui, as by that demarcation, or that beacon placement, then we will know very well this school is in Kitui, and it should be registered in Kitui. So that if there are students from Tana River in Kitui, we have no problem, because they will know we are from Tana River, but this school is in Kitui. So the first thing, boundaries. The second item, we said because of the vastness of the area, we have police reservists. We have already sent some, the number is not adequate. So it means when you take over as a governor, you might want to supplement that number by getting more people trained and allowed to own guns, and then possibly provide some stipend or allowance. The third point critical is the 2 governments, the Tana River government and the Kitui government, must agree, have what I call a peace agreement, that so long as we are neighbors and we have not chosen to be neighbors, these are the don'ts and these are the do's for us to maintain our peace. And then you do public participation, involve both communities so that they know you benefit more by living together, by coexistence. So I think if you do that, and that's purely implementation. And I'm happy that Governor Malombe has started by doing the police stations, which has done there. We will continue pushing for demarcation. If we get that one, so I see it just like picking from where Malombe will have stopped and finalizing. And with that, we'll have peace forever, and we can develop our county. On the issue of the sand, this is the way I look at it. For me, the issue of sand is just a man-made problem. Our county assembly did justice to this matter by ensuring there is a law which is to be followed, matter sand.
Yes.
They have already come up with that law. Is already an act of the assembly to manage sand in Kitui. What we need is enforcement of the law. Where we have failed is the so-called cartels in courts, where people don't want to implement that law for selfish gains. Very selfish gain. For me, as a governor, I want to say this from this seat. As a governor, my work will be to enforce the law 100%. That law was saying this. For each river basin, form a cooperative society to manage that river basin. This cooperative society will be cooperative society of people who live along that river basin. So that these people will be able to get the sand from the river, bring it to a central place, ensuring the sustainability of that river, the basin. And once they do that, then let every road coming to Kitui pick the sand from that central place. It could be packaged, it could be just open. But by that, you will ensure that as a governor, the county will get their rightful share in terms of revenue. Because you'll be able to count the lorries.
Yeah.
The second point is just to automate that process so that payment is automated. You don't handle cash. Let the money go to a collecting account which belongs to the county. So that if I pick 100 lorries, my payment is to a collecting account written Kitui County government. And then you'll be able to have enough money to pay our workers well. They don't have to engage in corruption. So the problem is we have very well interested people in this sand, and they are the people who are blocking the enforcement of the law. Unfortunately, enforcement of the law has not been as effective as it should be. So my work, assignment number 1, I don't have to fight with anybody. Enforce the law. If you go against the law, there are penalties. If you go within the law, you take your money wherever you take. And by that, I can tell you for sure. I got some presentation from my team from Mwengi, one of the cooperatives which had formed, and it has totally been sidelined. In a year from the establishment, Kitui is losing $1 billion
From sand.
from sand. And that is only now the Mwengi side. We are not talking about Kitui side. Assuming what will enforce that law will be more than 3B. Currently we are collecting how much? 0.5 billion. That's our own revenue. 0.5 billion. So this is what I'm telling you. We have the resources, just management. By the way, the difference between Kitui where we are today and where we should be is governance. There's nothing else.
So that, in your view, sand alone should be able to fetch about
not less than 1.5 billion.
1.5 billion.
Not less than 1, and proper sustainable management of sand, so that we don't.
But Mheshimiwa, there are barriers all over. These sand trucks of sand, I mean ferrying sand, they are also paying taxes.
But that money is going to people's pocket. Is it a secret? It's going to people's pocket. How many people have been told we will kill you if you talk about sand? How many people have we seen being harassed because they are talking about sand? So for me, it's automatic. And I want to give this assurance to Kenyan Kitui County. For me, matters governance. We will play as per the law. So, people at the shortcuts to the law, no. I will be able to talk to my county assembly to give me the right law. Once the law is in place, we implement the law as per the letter. That one, we must do it. So that we don't have these ways of one person taking our own resources, put them into their pocket, and then they go around bragging that I'm rich. And you are rich out of public resources. That will stop. That will stop. It will stop. The issue of the roads is what I was saying earlier. God has been very gracious to Kitui County. Where we have no roads, He has placed minerals. So my trick number 1, open up the ground for mineral exploitation. We'll have all those roads. Go to a place like what you're talking about, the border with the Tana River.
The motorway.
If we make those big, we have very big, huge, we have land all over the place, very expansive land. If we decided to make those ranches so that we allow people, like I give you 200 acres, and I tell you, we list this to you as Kitavi for 3 years, some 5 years.
Yes.
Invest in livestock keeping. We give another one, hotel development. For us to access those good things there, we'll have to open the road to that area. Now, when we open the area to that area, take the issue of limestone in Kansi, one of those areas. If we get a factory put there to do limestone processing so that we get cement, shall we not have roads going to those areas? So, for me, infrastructural development is a byproduct of exploitation of the resources. And we'll open our area. By just saying, let's have this here, because one thing which we did well, and I think we must thank
Malombe.
We must thank Malombe for that. When Malombe first term came in, there's a small document, it was called Kitui Infest 2025. A small document. We are running 2025. That document, it mapped the county in terms of resources. If you look at the investment opportunities, are actually mapped. So if you get that booklet, you know what needs to be done where in Kitui County. So what you need to do is to implement that, If it is a Wakilui crash processing thing, we make it operational and provide the necessary infrastructure to facilitate that initiative. By doing that, we'll open that county and everyone will be accessible because it's already mapped. It's very well mapped. Like areas like Kora, where we can do game reserve and tourism circuit. For you to do tourism properly, you need to open the area. So you open those roads, and you will have minimal problems. Actually, one thing God has done to us, because I think we all come from Gateway, we have a lot of resources.
Yes.
And I can tell you for sure, my vision is, if God gives me the chance, in 10 years, we'll be counting the richest counties in Kenya. By the time we reach number 7, Kitui will be mentioned.
I was saying thank you so much, the Beyond Facts team. It's been nice interacting with you, sharing some of my thoughts on our beautiful Kitui County. I always say that Kitui County is a sleeping giant, and we need to wake up the giant. By waking up this sleeping giant, my people from Kitui County will be proud to be associated with that sleeping giant. Here is a person by the name Makali wa Mulu, who is very ready to ensure that this sleeping giant wakes up. I'm ready in terms of experience. I'm ready in terms of academic qualifications. I'm ready in terms of my political experience. My own heart is looking forward to this opportunity to serve you. I have the passion to do it. The ball is in your court. Give me the chance. I apply my mind to what I've said, and I assure you, Kitui County will be safe in my hands. Your future generations will never regret to have given me for you to have given me the opportunity to serve you from 2027 as your governor. My promise is, when I get in there, we will serve you, and I want to assure you, I will not be a one-term governor. I'll be a two-term governor on the basis of my performance, not on the basis of politics. God bless you. Best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it was nice hosting the Honorable Member for Kitui Central, the Honorable Makali Mulu, who is serving his third term in Parliament and who is now aspiring to be the Governor of Kitui County. Thank you much more for coming to the show.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to another show soon.
Soon.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Karibu. Asante.
Thank you so much.